Good evening and welcome to the Monday, August 14th, 2023, 6 p.m. regular joint meeting of the Bell Gardens City Council and Successor Agency to the Community Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order at 6:08 p.m. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city website as noted on the agenda. If any of the members should have a conflict of interest, please now on any item you're refusing from due to a conflict of interest prior to that item. Next location, by Minister Guy.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Mayor, distinguished City Council, police chief, and city staff. Let us pray and remember that as we pray, we come into God's presence. Heavenly Father God, we come before you in this hour. Lord, I present, Father God, the leadership of our city. For those who protect and keep us safe every day, Lord, I pray, Father God, that every topic, every matter that will be discussed in this hour, that your guidance be over our leadership. Father, we pray for your blessings and your favor over our city. In the name of Jesus, we pray this. Amen.
And the pledge of allegiance led by President. City clerk, please call roll the members of the city council and successor agency.
Thank you. Members of the council and successor agency, Barcelona. Councilwoman Pulido. Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chair Chavez
Present.
and Mayor Chair Sanchez.
Present. We will now move to the presentation. City manager, please introduce the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. The first presentation is a proclamation to recognize National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness.
A proclamation recognizing National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day, whereas National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day is a day of education to raise public awareness that people are dying at alarming rates due to illegal made fentanyl. Fentanyl is a synthetic opiate that is approximately 50 times more potent than heroin and 100 times more potent than morphine. Whereas criminal drug networks are harnessing the accessibility of social media and e-commerce to push deadly drugs into American communities and lure youth, and whereas overdose deaths linked to synthetic opiates like fentanyl tripled nationally amongst teenagers. Some deaths attribute to fentanyl mixed with other illicit drugs like cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin. Whereas the DA is observing August 21st, 2023 as National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day in remembrance of loved ones that have died from fentanyl poisoning. Now, there be a resolve that I, Francis Daniel Sanchez, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, with the City Council, do hereby proclaim August 21st, 2023, and annually thereafter as National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day in the City of Bell Gardens, and urge all citizens to acknowledge the devastation this drug has brought to thousands of affected family members and friends, and bring awareness about the dangers of fentanyl. Proclaim this 14th day of August 2023. We will now begin with item number 1 on the agenda. At this time, I will open the public hearing at 6:12 p.m. City manager, will you please introduce this item?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor. This item that we have is for the council to consider a resolution that approves authorizing a reimbursement agreement. with the County of Los Angeles. To help the city's continued participation in the permanent local housing Prevention program for the current fiscal year. I'll turn it over to our community development director, Gus Romo, to provide additional information.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. The city has received funds from the PLHA program for the last 2 fiscal years. Year 1, a total of $376,671, and year 2, a total of $962,134. I'm going to go ahead and have our housing specialist, Veronica Jaramillo, explain to you what year 3 brings to you. The first 2 years, we were able to assign eviction defense and first-time homebuyer assistance to our community. The state does not allow the eviction defense anymore. And the first-time homebuyer assistance, we've had Cal Home program for quite some time, so we really haven't had any applications come forward for that. That's the reason we're now bringing forward to you the need for a rental assistance program. So I'll turn it over to our housing specialist, Veronica Harvey.
It's on. Out. Cover up to 30%. Then 6 months. Possibility of up to a year of subsidy. You must also be able to pay minimum area income of 30%. And they must be able to contribute 60% or more of their total income towards rent. So I mean, at the start, we're trying to base it in between 30% and 50% of the AMI. So we really want to get those low income families. Participants must contribute 60%. And the program will also provide case management. And it's not only case management, we're gonna ensure that they get guidance throughout the entire program, and it's not just, we're gonna give the money to the tenants, but it's gonna go to the property owners. So there will be strategy. But we do want counseling to be included, so we are gonna collaborate with the Parks and Recreation Department because they don't have to do with it, but it's in our department in the past. This is, we're gonna go based off of what HUD establishes as annual income limits by family size. This is for one person, two person, three person, four person, and so on, income. And in order to qualify, within 30% of the income. And HUD regularly revises this. This is gonna go through 2023 to 2024. Estimated start date. We hope to have it go live October 1st, 2023. We're already working on documents. And I'm really excited to work with this. It's not a collaboration in the past. So this program, we really want to hit those low income families once again to just provide a much needed subsidy. That's.
Mayor and council, I want to let you know that this is your choice to have this rental assistance program. In other words, the money's go toward this. In the past, you've chosen first-time home buyers assistance and eviction defense. And like I indicated, the eviction defense is no longer eligible. However, our residents did take advantage of that. 126,000 went towards our residents for eviction defense counseling. So it did help. I know of at least 3 families that were able to avoid eviction because of this program. Thank you very much for picking that with the LACTA. And we're asking now if you can pick rental assistance because we really believe our residents need this the most. And with the rent stabilization program that we have in place right now, that is helping. But again, that's a tool. We believe this will be an additional tool to help the ones that are struggling right now, prevent them from being homeless.
We'll now move to council members' questions or comments. Does any of the members of the council have any questions or comments at this time?
Yes. I think
My question is in regards to the previous experience that we've had. When we did a rental program, there were cases when the property owners refused to accept the debt. Is there a plan in place, to deal with that? Have you guys thought about ways to? Like,
And when you build that rapport between property owners and the city, it's not my first rodeo. We're working with rental assistance program and communicating with property owners and landlords. So I think if I build that rapport with them, which I have been through our workshops, through just networking with them when they call in, they personally talk to me. So I've been trying to build that relationship with them to build that trust. So I think if we can collaborate with them and just be as clear as I possibly can be about the program, because it's not only going to assist the tenants, it's also going to assist them because it's not just a one-time assistance. This is a 6-month, 12-month program that's going to help assist the tenants to pay their rent. So initially, if they are behind, if they can't afford what it is, if they can't afford the rent increases, this is going to assist them in actually meeting those goals. And we do want to provide financial guidance, teach them how to budget. One of my goals is to bring program. It is in the staff report that we do want to provide workshops for the tenants on how to budget, maybe also bring in some workshops that are going to have employments that are going to assist them. So I think if we present it to them as a program that's going to help keep up the payments, I think it's going to assist in them accepting those checks. Because I know a lot of the times they don't want to give the W-9 form, they don't want to give that personal information. So we can gain their trust. I think it's going to make it easier to collaborate with the property owners.
excellent. Thank you for your answer. So it will be safe to say that the city will be getting in contact with the property owners as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Councilmember Barson, and just to give you some confidence there, we haven't been running that program for about a year or so. But we were able to successfully overcome that with a program that was a lot bigger than that. So I know our staff has the knowledge and ability to overcome that issue.
And if I can interrupt just for a moment, I just wanted for the record to note that Councilwoman Pulido entered at 6:20. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Veronica. Very informative, and I'm glad to see that we're heading in this direction for year 3. I had a couple of questions here in regards to the presentation. If our residents are interested in receiving more information, aside from being published on social media and the city website, is there going to be some sort of flyers distributed at our events, for folks to see the firsthand what's being offered here? We obviously have a lot of events here, especially during the summertime, but as we go into the fall swing of things with Fiestas Patrias, with Halloween event, I hope that we have flyers prepared to also give our residents.
If I may, thank you, Councilmember Jorge Chavez. Excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem Chavez. Yes, absolutely. And we will utilize every avenue that we currently have through our brochure or social media. We've already been working with community development to get their information out, not just at our special events, but at any program like our art and yard sale that we've started to distribute this information. We've been already putting out information about rental assistance, tenant assistance, and landlord assistance programs. And so we'll just continue down that vein. And also because the CFSC staff have practice and are familiar with rental assistance programs, we've already established good rapport, not just with tenants, but with landlords. And thankfully now we have the ability to grow these resources and just expand on already what the city is doing. So it's all looking very positive.
Thank you so
Keep in
much for
mind-
that, Director.
We'll also have a workshop before the implementation of the program. So Veronica will work with Liz and her staff to head this program before October 1st.
Perfect. Can other cities from the surrounding area also apply for assistance? Strictly for Bell Gardens? Perfect. what about, obviously, it gets difficult when it's tied with federal money for some of our undocumented folks. Will they also have an opportunity to apply and receive assistance?
That is correct. Yes. So we are not asking for immigration status. It's open to every resident in Belgrade.
Perfect. And then what about for mobile home parks? Are they also considered, will they also be allowed to apply for this program?
Yes, sir. The main thing is to meet the income qualifications. What Veronica was pointing out, that 30%, you have to be above 30% AMI.
Gotcha. Yeah, because a lot of that was one of the questions we had when, with rent control here in the city. Whether or not mobile home parks were also considered, and sometimes the tenant owns the lot, the trailer itself, but not the space, and they rent out the space every month. The final question I had, perhaps maybe in the future, and I don't know, we talked about this, creating the rental registry. I know that was a part of component when we passed the ordinance for rent control, I think about a year ago, to this meeting almost. And one of the components was addressing creating a rent control board and then also adding a rental registry component, right? Where we could have a database of all the renters within the city. From my understanding, I don't know if that's already in the process. I know we're doing a study, but I think it'll go hand in hand with this because in part for a lot of the folks that maybe don't go to the events or maybe aren't on social media or maybe just have difficulty getting around the city. I think it'd be interesting if we could have staff, perhaps some of our staff do some cold calling and just informing the residents about this program, because I can imagine a lot of folks are struggling day to day, and I think it'll be a great opportunity for them to have to know about this resource with the rent, if we have the rental registry in process. And if we don't, I would say is I know that there's a couple of nonprofits that have done a lot of social justice work around affordable housing and rental assistance, ECRs, CLRJ, Reproductive Justice, those nonprofits, and they have a database already with a list of renters that are willing to also spread the word about this. So I think it'd be a great opportunity for us to collaborate.
Absolutely, sir. And just to let you know, we are continuing to register properties. That's been happening since the ordinance was adopted in last September. We're just about the 90% mark with the cost study. So that'll be coming before you in September. For the entire study will be presented. We'll identify the costs of rent control board versus just staffing and the rental registry fee as well.
Thank you so much. Excited for September. Thanks.
So I know one of the requirements is the income qualification for them to, qualify for the program. You talked about there being different workshops for like budgeting, managing money, things of that nature. Are the recipients of these funds required to attend those workshops, or they're just gonna be provided with the funds and then not required to attend those workshops? The reason I asked is you said this would be maybe 6 to 12 months. I want to be able to set up these residents with success, versus failure of handing them money over and then not being able to sustain, that budget within the next 6 or 12 months when they no longer have the funding that we're providing.
Of our, it is part of the contract that we are gonna have with PLHA. It is in the wording, so that is one of the requirements. I think I'm gonna try and be as flexible as I possibly can to offer different workshops, because I know a lot of it is a working class community. So in order to offer it, we have to be very flexible with it. And I know at that point, I will have to be flexible also, just to be there and be advocating for the tenants, because I think it's encouragement if they see me there trying to collaborate with them and working together to provide success to them. So I'm not saying it's just going to be one workshop. I think it has to be more than one. I think it's very important to teach them how to just teach everyone. I'm pretty sure I'll learn a thing or two in the process. So it's budgeting that's going to be very important. It's going to be trying to bring resources with employment too, and just trying to see what's going to be the best route. I think talking to the community is going to be one of the best things that I could do. And I know my director Gus also informed me that he did want me to join some of the outreach special events, just so I can get to know the community and see what type of workshops or what's gonna work best for them. So I think me doing the workshops too for rent stabilization is assisting me in the best way that our community learns and really takes in information. So I'm excited to start them. I'm excited to see what programs we might be able to bring. Maybe just collaborate with different nonprofits also, just as you suggested, because I think that's gonna be the best resource to me also.
Any additional questions from the council? Thank you. We will now open public comment for this item. I will call the three speakers at a time. Please make your way over to the podium to line up. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Thank you. The members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on public hearing item number 1. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments to the mayor and council members. Each speaker and written comments are limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select unmute or the microphone icon when instructed. We'll begin to hear from the members of the public that are physically present in the council chamber. If you haven't done so, please submit your comment cards now for this item. We received 0 written comments.
If there's no objection by city council, I will now close public participation.
I believe you have one comment.
You're right, I apologize. Bruce April.
Good evening. One speaker for something as important as this. Maybe the candidates will have something to say about it tonight. They should. There's so much to cover in this. I would just like to say, this is not a formula for success. This is the situation that you're in, that you have created, and not just recently, it's been over a period of years. That you have allowed certain things, one about the undocumented people here, and then we have the fentanyl. We're against fentanyl. Well, if you seal up the border and you stop the flow of fentanyl coming in, solves the problem. Very easy, very easy. And you can't force the landlords. That's another strategy. That's really gonna make everybody feel good, especially if you're a homeowner that are renting your property out. And you're also admitting that people can't afford to pay their rent. They're already working, I assume. So you're gonna have job training and finance management. It doesn't matter what kind of management you give them. If you don't have enough money, you can't pay your rent or buy a house. So what have you done to help people be independent and successful? Nothing. You're going to make them dependent on you. You're here to save them against the evil homeowner. That's what you're doing. You're not helping them at all. And they're not helping themselves. They need to get off of your dole and stop trusting you and start living their own lives independently and moving forward to being a success. Stop waiting around for the government to solve every issue for you. All you got to do is say social equity and social justice. You're a victim, but I'm here to protect you and I'm here to help you. No, you're not. You don't care about these people. You only care about your power. That's it. You don't care one bit about them. Every one of you just about up here thinks it's okay to have kids cut their genitals off and kill them and commit suicide. You're not helping them. You're killing them. You're mutilating them. But you think that's okay. Hopefully the candidates will have something to say about some of this. Thank you.
Do we have any speakers on Zoom?
No, we do not.
If there's no objection by the city council, I will now close public participation. Participation at 6:30. I have a motion. If there's no further comments by council members or questions, I will now close the public hearing at 6:30. May I have a motion to adopt the attached resolution approving and authorizing a reimbursement agreement with Los Angeles County Department Authority for the city's participation in the Los Angeles Urban County Permanent Local Housing Allocation Program? Motion by Chavez, second by Barcina. City Clerk, can you please conduct a roll call?
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Barcina. Councilwoman Pulido,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez.
Yes.
And Mayor Sanchez.
Yes. We will now move to public participation for items not listed on the agenda. Public participation is now open. I will call 3 speakers at a time. Please make your way to the podium to line up. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Thank you. The members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items not listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, subject to an overall 30-minute period unless announced otherwise. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining by Zoom may select the raise hand feature and select unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We'll first hear from speakers that are in person. And for the record, we did not receive any written comments.
Bruce A. Crow, Camille Salazar, and Amber Tovar.
As the words of Pauly Shore, I'm back. Non-agenda. Very interesting. There's a lot of things happening. I think just a sentiment that needs to be addressed is that people obviously should not trust their so-called elected officials, and you should not be given the benefit of the doubt anymore. There was no demand to bring in pot shops to Bell Gardens, but this is your legacy. But you did it anyway. And I'm from the next town. I grew up in this town, but I live in the next town, and we know over in Downey, which Miss Polito is alleged to live there. And a previous mayor and council member lived in Downey also. We know that you not only want to sneak the pot shops in here, but you want to sneak them into Downey as well. And you start seeing the connections that are going on between the current council and people in Downey that are trying to move in certain areas. And an example of that was Toastmasters the other night from Downey. Mr. Barcena brought them over. So there's a little connection. And then we also have Big Mario Guerra and Hans Fritz, who are running the campaigns of the Jennifer Rodriguez block. We know they're connected. They ran their campaign. And she owes you $30,000, but we know about the husband's record and things like that. But we know they're not for the pot, but you guys are for pot. So you want to sell us government pot to the kids, but not fentanyl, but you won't close the border to stop the fentanyl from coming in. So you're not really trustworthy to be listened to. We are aware of that. The pot is going to try to be sneaking in through Bell Gardens. You had the contact with Catherine Alvarez, who was recalled 90% to 10 in Downey. She was one of them, and also our fictional district number 5 representative, who was a business partner with the current city attorney's relative. And we know there's a connection there, and they're trying to get the marijuana into Downey. So we're aware of it. We just think that people need to know this thing. And you need to be honest about your mayor resignation, the resigning of the previous mayor. Nobody believes the story or the official line of why she resigned. She needs to come clean and explain exactly why she resigned. Thank you.
Camille Salas.
Hello, City of Pearl Gardens. My name is Camille Salas, and I am a Catalyst Cares Manager of Catalyst. And I want to just say, and I'm coming here and speaking from the heart, I've been working in the cannabis industry for 9 years now. And I can tell you guys all about my journey, but in all actuality, this is the woman I did it for. My grandma. She passed away in February, but the whole time I'm just thinking about her, because my whole life I've had people doubt me and tell me that this plant is not the way to go. But you know what? Every day I've proven people wrong, and I've helped my grandmother live a very helpful, fulfilling life and painless, because it was hard for her to walk every day. And I just did it for her. And every day I'm behind that counter, I do it for every person who needs to feel painless every day. And that's really what I want to say. And I know if she was here right now, she would be agreeing with me. And all I can say is at first it wasn't easy to change a mind, but in all actuality, I just come from the heart and I just want to help people. And I know that this plant has helped a lot of people, even if people don't see it and they don't understand. Well, my name's Camille, and at Catalyst, we have educated people, and we take, I just want to make sure that we are taking care of everybody. And I know that this plant has helped a lot of, it's okay. It was really good. Oh, no, it's okay. But I just really wanted to say that, we are all educated that work at Catalyst, and we are a good neighbor, and we go out into the neighborhoods and help our neighbors. And we do cleanups, we do blood drives, we do cleanups, we do blood drives, food necessity drives, anything that we can do, it's not above us. We will do it because we are people of our word. Thank you.
Amber.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm Amber Tovar. I'm the director at Catalyst Cares. Catalyst is a legal dispensary here in Southern California. And I'm quite surprised by some of the comments that I heard this evening. I'm gonna give you a little bit of my background because I'm not just coming up here, speaking from as this gentleman. I'm not sure where his research came from, but I can tell you I've been in the industry for 3 years. Prior to that, I was in the mainstream industry and hospitality. I worked in construction, the oil fields. I was in pharma, so you can imagine very highly regulated industries. And when the pandemic hit, sales at hotels was the first to go. And suddenly I was looking for a new set of an industry skills that were transferable. And what was I going to do? Cannabis was the industry that was still standing during the pandemic, and they were making their employees essential. That was huge for me. Hospitality had been hit twice now. So with that, I found plenty of transferable skills. It's a highly regulated, both with security. Is that better?
A little bit closer, but not as close.
Right here? Okay. So it's very regulated. Like I said, there's security. One of the stores that I worked at, our cameras were connected to police departments, so we were actually able to help the police. It's 24 hours security. We have career development, like Camille was saying. Camille's part of my department. And these are usually their employees from the actual city that we're working in. So from an education standpoint, there are universities now that are also looking at curriculum. That's something that Catalyst Cares actively works through. So as you, I know cannabis is already legal here, but please feel confident that the cannabis industry, it's not a crazy industry. It's very regulated and it's very active. Like Camille said, we do a ton of outreach. Cannabis does not sneak in. It has to be licensed first. And then from that point, if the Catalyst Cares team is, lucky enough to come to your city, we come in and we want to know, what does that city want? What does that community want? Do you want to clean up? Would you like to have medical marijuana for your veterans? Do you need blood drives? We work with a blood bank. We're the top donor in Southern California. So cannabis is not, the reefer madness that this gentleman is spreading. Thank you.
I will call the next three speakers, Betty Gonzalez, Andres Rivera, and Danielle Lopez.
So I'm kind of loud. I'm old. My name is Betty. I'm nervous. So, but anyways, I'm just I work for Catalyst also, and as you can see, what I do is I walk around a lot, and probably 2 or 3, 4 miles a day as I knock on doors and I introduce things to the world cannabis people, and I ask questions. And so at the end of the day, my feet are killing me. So what I do is I need CBD oil to help my feet to heal every night. And I also consume cannabis myself on weekends, mostly with my boyfriend, to have a good time, karaoke and sing. And that's what people do, I think, is that we like to have a good time, be fun. We did our hard job, did everything when we were younger, we had kids. Now we have time to relax and do things that we my boyfriend is 68 years old. He's a mechanic. He works 5 days. His back hurts him all. So I just take the CBD oil and I rub it on his back. It helps him to regain his composure for in the morning and have a great day. So it does help people, especially older people, if they have a lot of illness. My aunt, she had stage 2 cancer, and she did have one each doing chemo and all the other things that they do. Long story short, gave her the gummies on capital to make her and have some kind of nutrition to help her eat through her time. And now she's in remission. So now all that gummies helped her to keep, a little bit of nutrition. And she's hopefully going to have a little bit of longer life now, thanks to cannabis. Also, this is going to bring a lot of money and jobs and a lot of stuff to help the economy. So I'm just hoping that if you don't, especially the elder people, if you don't really understand, because I was always brought up to, marijuana. Oh no. Well, when you get older, you inform yourself, get to know what it's about, then you can just make informative decisions. When I go to a store, I want to feel safe. I feel very safe going into a legal cannabis store, and I know that nobody's going to want to come out and try to jump me and take all my stuff. You know what I mean? Because I'm old. So, if you don't know, just get informed and just have a happy life when you're older. That's all I can say. And I have a wonderful. So you can't, always think of tomorrow's going to be great because at my age, it could be gone tomorrow. So, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, fellow council members and honorable mayor. My name is Andres Rivera. I've been working in the cannabis industry for 2 years now, and I came from the nonprofit, and I found myself working with individuals who really knowledgeable about the plant, for its medicinal purposes. And I want to applaud this city council, and former city councils for, bringing it to the city. It makes sense. It's an up and coming industry. And we know this, and we've seen in California. There's still a lot that needs to be done and fixed, in the industry itself, but I think this is the right move. You have your neighbors, in Bellflower. They generate a massive amount of tax revenue, for their city. I think their cannabis brings in, they're in second. And so I really think that, it'll be great for the city of Bell Gardens. Decriminalization frees up, police resources. Your police officers won't have to spend, time and money, trying to go after, cannabis, sellers. And legalization does not actually, um, uh, correspond with the increase in crime rates. It actually, decreases crime, because it mitigates the amount of illegal, dispensaries that are, or folks that are selling it, in the streets, and to minors too. And so, um, cannabis is already widely available and widely used. Regulating sends the message that cannabis is for adults and should be handled, with responsibility. So again, if anyone here, would like to know more about, how a dispensary is ran, I invite you to reach out to me, and we can give you a tour of, one of our stores. Our closest one would probably be, Bellflower, just to see, that, it's not some back end, shop where, they sell things in a little bag, and you get to try it there. It's nothing like that. So, thank you for your time.
Good evening, Bell Gardens. My name is Danielle, and I am the community organizer from Catalyst Cares for Catalyst Cannabis Company. I grew up in Montebello, just next door, and was a student at St. Benedict's and graduated at Montebello High School. Although I may not have resided in Bell Gardens, I consider myself local to Bell Gardens. I grew up in the church with my family of all generations, and they were not only committed to their faith, but they were also committed to their community. I was raised to give back and to help thy neighbor. Catalyst Cares helps thy neighbor, offering union jobs, starting employees above minimum wage, making social equity applicants a priority, and partnering with social equity ownership, community cleanups, blood drives, free live scans, and expungement clinics to right those who are wronged, safety with on-site security and 24-hour surveillance, verifying that every person who walks into our stores is of legal age of 21 and up or 18 with a medical rec, cannabis education opportunities, open houses, and so much more. During the pandemic, Santa Ana was able to keep out of the red and stay in the black, and they credit that to the cannabis industry. No city employee lost their job. Not many cities can say that. Tomorrow, we will be hosting our SB 34 program at our Patterson location. This state bill offers free medicinal cannabis for all medicinal patients. We proudly host this event monthly at every location, serving our veterans. This program saves lives. Sadly, a lot of those who have served this country and made sacrifices for our freedom and my right to speak with you here today have the highest rates of opioid addiction and suicide rates. This plant is a medicine. It saves lives and heals wounds, both seen and unseen. And to conclude my thought and my comment from the New Testament, Genesis 1:29. Then God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the surface of all the earth, and every tree which has fruit yielding seed. It shall be good for you. Thank you.
I will now call the next three speakers, Armand Ekman and Rogelio Rodriguez.
Dear Honorable City Council, my name is Zara Mekimian. I am a owner and operator of a cannabis business in Montebello, California. And I would just like to commend the city of Bell Gardens for opening up the city to a business that will bring safe and legal access to cannabis. And it will also bring a new stream of revenue to the city. Cannabis is something that is heavily regulated, more regulated than any other industry in California. And we all cannabis operators operate as legally as possible because there is no other way with the Department of Cannabis, with local regulators. And it is the only way to get safe and legal cannabis. If the city does not have a legal source of cannabis, people go to illegal sources, which causes hospitalizations due to the vapes, which are not done compliantly. So I just wanted to commend all of you. Thank you very much.
Mi nombre es Rogelio Rodríguez. Tengo viviendo aquí en Bell Gardens desde 1973.
But they didn't mention that so many of the homeless people started with marijuana. People are thinking about committing suicide because they don't have enough money to buy the weed. If they want to buy it at the pharmacy. But we don't have to allow them to be free to buy excess or just because they feel like it. I know that this will bring in a lot of business, a lot of money. And that's something we have to confront. Why? Because more than 200, 300 people have come to protest because they don't want marijuana. But we have representatives, unfortunately, who don't represent us. They are only representing their own interests because they have sold themselves. They've sold out. Like the person who resigned. Why did she resign? Get the money and she resigns. Why? Because she got the money. That's what several people here are going to do. We're not saying, oh, marijuana, marijuana, as if it were a god. I just don't understand the government, why they made it recreational. And you can't punish anyone. We have a big problem with a lack of police officers. How many police officers do we have here? Can any of you tell me? No, because you don't know. Do you know that we need more police in our community? When you bring marijuana here, you're going to need to double the number of police officers here so that they can respond to emergencies. But you don't care. You don't care because you are not representatives of the community. You work for the people. We aren't your workers, but you don't respect the people. But we have resources that we can use to get rid of you. Thank you.
We have one. Zoom ID Armando Velasquez. If you would please select the microphone icon or unmute. Thank you. You successfully unmuted yourself. You have 3 minutes.
Well, hello, and I'm sorry, I'm just confirming that this is on non-agenda items.
That is correct.
Okay, hello. Well, my name is Armando Velasquez. I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club of Southgate, community service organization in the Southeast Los Angeles community. And I'm actually proud to announce that we are in the middle of growing the Kiwanis program and its youth programs in the Southeast Los Angeles area. We are looking to create the SELA Kiwanis Club, the Southeast Los Angeles Kiwanis Club, which will be comprised of cities such as Bell Gardens, City of Bell, City of Maywood, and City of Cudahy. And I'm here just to extend an invitation to all residents and council members and anyone who's vested in Southeast Los Angeles to our upcoming informational meeting. It will be held on Friday, August the 25th and it will be hosted by the Southeast Rio Vista YMCA in the city of Maywood. We will be meeting at 6:30 in the evening inside the assembly room. And basically, the purpose of a Kiwanis Club is to do a lot of good service within the community, whether it's community cleanup, whether it's working with the youth, whether it's working with the elderly. And these are organizations that many people, whether it's a resident, a business person, a council member, a city worker, a city staff, is encouraged to participate with. So I invite not only the council, but residents of the city of Bell Gardens to join us again on August the 25th, 6:30 at the Southeast Rio Vista YMCA. I will be emailing information to the council members, but also encourage everyone to follow at Sila Kiwanis on Instagram. Again, that's at Sila Kiwanis on Instagram, and we will be posting updates there as we near the meeting itself. Thank you so much and have a great meeting.
Thank you. That was the last caller.
If there's no objection by members of the city council successor agency, I will now close public participation for non-agenda items. Public participation is now open for items listed on the city council successor agency joint agenda. I will call 3 speakers at a time. Please make your way over to the podium to line up. City clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Yes, the members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through the Zoom app may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature on Zoom and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will first hear from the members in the public that are physically present, and we did not receive any written communications.
Bruce A. Crow and Rogelio Rodriguez.
I'm back. Oh, years of basketball and football. Makes you sore. I don't know. Anyway, number 13. You're gonna conduct interviews for applicants of the city council's vacancy. I'm not sure, but I could stand corrected, but I'm not sure there was a proposal to allow this opening to last until the regular election cycle, which would be in 2024, I believe. Which was still would have cost you $770,000 regardless. You wouldn't have to have an appointment to cost you $170,000, and you wouldn't have to have a special election, which would cost you $770,000. You can just let it go until the regular election cycle. It's still going to cost you $770,000. But the issue is these candidates need to be asked, do they think you can conduct business with 4 people? Why not? Why not? Why do you need a 5th? People that want smaller government that can be trusted, which can't be trusted now, because you folks did not tell them the truth, or the residents the truth, when you said that you were going to keep cannabis out of Bell Gardens. They can't trust you now. You're not trustworthy. But we have that even in the White House right now. We've got so much corruption going down there, it's not even funny. And it all filters down. But these candidates need to be asked real good questions now. Do you know cannabis is coming through Montebello, the Bell Gardens, and then to Downey? Interesting. Mario Beltran, by way of Bell Gardens, Commerce. Yes, that's who wants it. Mario Trujillo, business partner of city attorney's relative here. There at Catherine Alvarez. She was over here pushing for the rent control. Oh, you're going to save everybody on that, aren't you? You're going to take care of everybody on that. And now affordable housing. But people should be asking the question also, and it should be honestly put out here. the mayor who resigned needs to tell the truth as to why she pinned her resignation. Until that day, there's going to be a dark cloud over this council until the truth is told. Thank you.
En el 11 y el 13.
On 11/13, they say that they're going to select candidates to represent us, but we can't trust the ones that you bring because we don't trust you at all. The other thing is, if you look at the city codes, it says there's a nepotism policy that says you cannot have family members on the council. Nevertheless, several of you have siblings and family members on the council. If you guys don't respect that, we have no reason to respect you. That's the truth. I can bring a list for the next meeting of all of the people that are family members of you guys who work here in the city. Now, they're talking also about about the money. Have you guys gone to see how they are? I think you'll see all the trash in Garfield. They're gonna find the alleyway trash over there. Because you guys just sit there and you don't do anything. The other thing too that I would like to say is every time that one of you go to an event about development or whatever, bring proof of what you've done. Bring that to us because when you go, you're paid for transportation, you're paid for food, you're paid for a hotel. And what do you bring here to us? Absolutely nothing. All of that money that you're taking out is just going down the drain and also for the corrupt people that you are.
No, we do not have anyone.
If there's no objection by the members, I will close public participation. City Manager, will you please give your report?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just want to acknowledge it's been 3 weeks since the last council meeting. At the last council meeting, there was a request to add an item for the Aquatic Center Ad Hoc Committee. That will be added for the next agenda, which is prior to the next Aquatic Ad Hoc Committee. So just wanted to make a note of that. Also just want to acknowledge a few things that have gone on the last few weeks. On August 1st, we had another successful National Night Out event. So thanks to the Neighborhood Watch Program, the Police Department, Recreation Community Services, Public Works, for all the effort there, and also for all the residents, council members for showing up. On August 3rd, I just want to mention we had the last of our summer movie and concert nights. So thanks again to the council. Thanks again to the residents and friends of residents for coming out, and also for staff again from Police Department, Recreation Community Services, Public Works, for another successful series of movie nights and concerts with no negative issues or anything of that nature, all positive. Also want to acknowledge we had something pretty unique on August 4th, on 2 Fridays ago. We had a successful mindful meditation session at Ford Park. So that was something new that we haven't had before. So that's hopefully something that can continue to be built on. And then on August 12th, this weekend, we had a back to school resource fair. So about 400 Bell Gardens students received backpacks and supplies. That's getting up to today. There are a lot of things coming up on August 15th and August 16th. As Gus and Veronica mentioned earlier, we have on the 15th, a property owner rent stabilization workshop. And on the 16th, a rent stabilization workshop for tenants. Those are here at City Hall. Those are monthly and they're back to back with a focus on property Monday and tenants. We also have coming up next weekend, it is yard sale weekend. So August 19th and August 20th. It's always popular. Another series that we've had going on is a financial literacy series that's been offered at Veterans Park. This next one's on cybersecurity and fraud prevention. So that's something I think is of interest to everybody. Also, just always want to mention on Fridays, we have our ongoing yard and art sale at 11 a.m. at Veterans Park. Also on Fridays at the same time, just about 2 blocks away, we have our farmers market. Our farmers market has moved to the Casa Leaders furniture parking lot for better accessibility, better visibility, and at the request of farmers market to keep that market viable. The last thing that I would just like to mention, as we bring these agendas to the council, to the residents, just want to point out some of the big things that we don't talk a lot of in detail on in person, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of work on that are greatly, I think, beneficial to the residents. So in this agenda alone, there's a $4 million amendment for improvements to Garfield and Eastern, where they Y together just before you get into Southgate. $900,000 of PLHA funds that we're requesting. The $4 million we already have. $1.4 million application that we have for the Ford Park playground and bathroom. And also $870,000 for alleyway repairs within the city of Bell Gardens. So if you total that up as we go through these council meetings, there's about almost $7 million worth of programs and projects agenda here that I'd just like to. That's all I have.
Thanks, Commander. We will now to the consent calendar. Does any member of the council, successor agency wish to put an item for separate discussion? I'm hearing none. If there are no further questions, I will now call for a motion to approve item numbers 2 to 10 of the consent calendar.
I'll second.
Motion by Barcelona, second by Chavez. City Clerk, please conduct a roll call.
Yes, thank you. Members of the council and successor agency, Barcelona. Councilwoman Pulido,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chair Chavez,
Yes.
Mayor Chair Sanchez.
Yes. City Manager, will you please announce discussion item 11?
Thanks again, Mayor. This next item is the local commission's appointment list. So this is available at staff recommendation that if the council would please review the commission's appointment list and by motion, if necessary or desired, remove commissioners, make appointments to posted vacancies. Thank you, Mayor.
Does any member of the council wish to appoint any commissioner at this time? Does any member of the council wish to remove any commissioner at this time? Okay, moving on to the next item. City Manager, will you please announce discussion item 12?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor. This next item is the city council appointment to external committees. It's staff recommendation for council to review this committee list and make changes, reappointments, or appointments as necessary. There are some vacancies due to the resignation of previous council member a month or two ago. With that, I thank you, Mayor.
We'll go ahead and start off with the first organization. I make a motion to be the delegate for the California Cities for Self-Reliant Joint Power Authorities. Can I get a second?
Second.
Can I also at the same, who would like to be the alternate for that organization? Does anybody motion to be the alternate?
What is the organization again?
California Cities for Self-Reliance Joint Power Authority.
I'll be the alternate for that if nobody else is available.
I second that. City Clerk, can you please conduct a roll call for that organization?
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Barcelona,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pulido,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez,
Yes.
and Mayor Sanchez.
Yes. Next organization is the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority. We need an alternate as it is vacant. Do I have a motion for an alternate? I motion to be the alternate. Do I get a second?
I'll second.
City Clerk, can you conduct a roll call, please?
Councilmember Barcelona, Councilwoman Pulido,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez, and Mayor Sanchez.
Yes. Next organization is the Eco Rapid Transit. We currently have alternate as Councilmember Barsina. I motion to move you as the delegate. Can I get a second? Do I have a motion for an alternate for the Eco Rapid Transit? Okay, motion for Jorge Chavez to be the alternate. I second that. And can we conduct a roll call for that organization?
Councilmember Barsina? Councilwoman Pulido?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Yes.
And Mayor Sanchez?
Yes. Next organization is Independent Cities Association. We currently have the delegate as Councilmember Pulido, and we need an alternate as it's vacant. Do I have a motion?
Motion to nominate you.
Okay, I second that. And can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Barsina?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pulido?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez?
Yes.
And Mayor Sanchez?
Yes, and that concludes all the organizations at this time. City Manager, will you please announce discussion item 13?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor. So this next item, due to a council member resigning from their seat on July 3rd, governing code section states that if a vacancy occurs in elective office, such as the vacant seat, the council shall within 60 days from the commencement of the vacancy, either fill the vacancy by appointment or call for a special election to fill the vacancy. At the last council meeting, the council directed staff to provide an application process to fill the vacancy. With that, it is staff's recommendation that the council receive the applications of the persons residing in the city of Bell Gardens, applying for the appointment to the vacancy of the council office. The council's been provided with the application material that were received prior to the 5 p.m. deadline last Wednesday. The next recommendation is tonight to conduct the interviews of the applicants. And then if it's the desire of the council to adopt a resolution, making an appointment to fill the vacancy pursuant to the government code section. Thank you, Mayor.
We will take a short recess at 7:15 to give the candidates time to follow the city clerk staff to a waiting room. I will call each candidate one at a time in order of last name.
Gabriela Gomez, if you would please come up to the podium. You have 3 minutes.
Gabriela Gomez, you have 3 minutes to introduce yourself and highlight your qualifications.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members, and staff, and everyone in attendance. My name is Gabriela Gomez, and I am a resident of the city of Bell Gardens. In addition to being a resident of Bell Gardens, I am a lifelong public servant. I have served with LA County Department of Public Social Services. I'm going on 32 years, November. And I have served in various capacities. I started off as a case manager, working with homeless families, working with immigrants, working with all kinds of individuals in need and providing direct services to them. I moved on to operational support. I've moved on to media services there, and I'm currently a public information specialist with the County Department of Public Social Services. In addition to the work that I've done for the county, I have also volunteered for many, many years with different initiatives. For example, the homeless initiative. I am part of the Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count. Every year I go out to do that. I have volunteered as an election worker, serving as a vote center lead. I'm currently a planning commissioner with the city of Bell Gardens. And I am also a cyclist and advocate for mobility justice programs that help people to advocate for causes that help people to get to work safely, to get to where they need safely. I happen to be somebody that cycles to work. I ride to work 3 times a week from here to City of Industry on my bicycle. And I do that as a choice, as a matter of choice. There are a lot of people that don't have those choices. They can't afford they can't afford private transportation, their own cars, insurance, things like that. So they rely on other methods of transportation. And that's one of my passions, is to make things safer for people so that they can get around to where they need to be with their families. Excuse me. In addition to that, I have worked with families on Skid Row. I served on the Pasadena Housing and Homeless Network. So I'm really happy to see that there is a proposal for a rental assistance program, because I've seen what those programs can do for people. Personally, one story that I love to share is, I had a family that went through that program. She was a mom with 3 kids sleeping on the floor at Olvera Street. And because of that program, we were able to get her into housing. And, there's no amount of pay, there's no other kind of reward that is more rewarding than seeing a family do better because of something that you did. And that's what I want to bring to the city of Bell Gardens. I want to bring the work and the experience that I have for the residents of Bell Gardens.
Does any member of the council have any questions to ask the candidate?
What is the role of the city council in our community?
Well, I believe that the role of the city council is to safeguard the interests of the residents, to push for initiatives and for decisions that benefit the residents of the city, to act responsibly, fiscally, and to do what is necessary to make the tough decisions that will move the city forward and that will benefit everyone in the long run.
I have a question. What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated matters?
Well, as a public information specialist, there are often times that I have done interviews with news media, and they do ask some questions sometimes that may be a little bit controversial. I think that the best thing to do is to be honest with the information you can provide, as much as you can provide. I believe that it's important to be transparent with people. Let them know who you are and where you come from and what your stand is on certain situations. I don't like pulling surprises on people. I'm very open with who I am and with what I believe. And I think that is a matter of building trust with the community and with everyone on the council as well.
Thank you so much for submitting your application. Quick question, in your experience, professional experience, Can you elaborate or maybe talk about some leadership roles that you've had in the past?
Well, I have, for example, in 2019, I was awarded the Administrator of the Year Award from the CalFresh Forum, which is part of the California Department of Social Services. And that was for an outreach program that I developed that was then adopted by the state, and it is now a statewide campaign. And the whole purpose of that program is to help alleviate food insecurity, to help people make sure that they know that there are resources out there for them. A lot of people are either afraid to ask for these benefits, they don't know that they qualify for them, and they're making different choices between paying their bills or buying food, or paying for medicine or buying food. And so the whole point of that outreach campaign was to let them know that they don't have to make that tough choice, that there are resources for them so that they can provide for their families.
For that.
Any additional questions? You are now dismissed. Please return to the waiting room until you're asked to return to the council chambers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It'll just take a moment to bring the next candidate in.
Andrew Leon, you have 3 minutes to introduce yourself and highlight your qualifications.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and city staff. My name is Andrew Leon. I've been a resident of Bell Gardens for about 30 years. I'm a product of our school system. I graduated from UC Irvine, triple majored in political science, international studies, and criminology. I'm a strong advocate for higher education. That's why I volunteered for the College Bound Today program at our local high school to instill in our youth about the importance of higher education. While in college, I conducted research on community policing here in Bell Gardens, where I met with the great Miss Travis and participated and volunteered for the Neighborhood Watch program for many years, assisting in our National Night Out, our Candlelight Vigil programs. I've also been a softball coach for many years, along with my father here at Ford Park, but I knew I wanted to do more. I wanted to reach out to city council and become a commissioner. And I'm honored to say that I've served under 3 council members as a planning commissioner and educational commissioner. I learned a lot on how the city operates and to develop professional relationships with a lot of city staff here. I'm currently a senior management analyst with the Montebello Fire Department, in which I provide oversight on contracts, budgets, grants, but most importantly, I assist in managing the homeless programs for the city of Montebello, from conducting their homeless count to assisting our outreach services, to managing the 30 interim shelter beds called Tiny Home Project called Operation Stay Safe in Montebello. I helped bring that program up, and I still manage it. I also assisted the city in acquiring $1.7 million in encampment funds to assist our homeless neighbors along the Rio Hondo riverbed. I also dispersed the COVID-19 rental assistance program in Montebello, as well as bring on a new initiative to entice landlords to work with homeless programs in the city. That being said, I believe my municipal experience, along with my community engagement and commitment, combined with my experience and expertise in grants, budgeting, coalition building, make me the ideal candidate the city needs. Our motto for BG is a hub of progress. I believe the council is doing a great job in bringing that forward and living up to that motto. We may be a hub, but let's continue to lead BG the right way. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Does any member of the council have any questions?
I believe the role of the city council in
Our community, for sure, definitely fiduciary responsibility, right? Making sure that we have an obligation to make the best interest financially to our city, improving the quality of life, continue to do so. Obviously, homelessness is a big issue. If you're walking around the city, you know it's growing. It's going to be a bigger problem in years to come. So being pragmatic and having a program set so we can catch that wave. Being stewards for change and making sound policy.
Handling confidential.
I like to think I'm very analytical, so I need all the information to make a sound judgment and decision. Before, we make any hasty moves or decisions. So I'd like to, again, have information and data before me to make, the necessary decisions we need for the community. Good thing is, I wouldn't have to be, if considered, I wouldn't have to do this alone. We have 5 able bodies, a collective mind, to all collaborate and compromise to make the decisions that is best for this community.
Thank you so much for submitting your application for this position. I'll ask, in your experience, your professional experience, what are some of the leadership roles you've held in the past? Thank you.
Definitely as a planning commissioner, I've been doing that. I was honored to do that for a couple years now in enacting change and bringing, helping the beautification of our community, whether that's digitalizing our billboards to bring in revenue for the community, making a decision on that. I've been supervisors for multiple programs, leading teams. So I've always been told strong leadership capabilities and making sound judgment. And, obviously taking on new projects for the city of Montebello. I've been tasked to take that on. It's new initiatives coming on, especially the landlord incentive program, our tiny homes. We're one of the only cities in the gateway cities in doing a tiny home project of that scale. So to be tasked with that and making sure we hit our measures is a big responsibility. And I'm told I'm doing a good job. So I'd like to say I can tell you now.
Characteristics should include.
Definitely emotional intelligence, the political acumen and professional demeanor needed to make sound judgment, needed to be able to collaborate, compromise, and look out for the best interest for the city. Set away your own interest and agenda to make sure that you're looking out for the community. So I will list those characteristics, especially integrity, and professionalism, to name a few.
Any additional questions? You are now dismissed. Please return to the waiting room until you're asked to return to the city council chamber. Thank you so much. City clerk, can you bring forward the next candidate?
Yes, thank you. I'll just take one moment.
Stephanie Perez, you have 3 minutes to introduce yourself and highlight your qualifications.
Starting now, oh, sorry. Good evening, City Council, Honorable City Manager, and Department Directors, and citizens of all gardens. Thank you for assistance and participation in tonight's meeting. It is an honor to be given the opportunity to introduce myself and to communicate to everyone why I am, who I am, and why I'm the best fit for this position. My name is Stephanie Perez. I am 27 years old, even though I get a lot of comments that I look like a 17-year-old, but I am 27 years old. I am a daughter of immigrant parents. I was raised in the city where I attended Garfield Elementary School, Bell Gardens Intermediate, and graduated from Bell Gardens High School in 2014. For 4 years, I was part of a great program offered in our community, which is known as the Police Explorers, which I began to attend and assist in supporting city events, and where I gained the sense of responsibility for the safety of my community. After my term was done, I went to college and graduated from Cal State Dominguez Hills, where I earned my bachelor's in cellular and molecular biology. And through my work experience, I have become a frontline scientist, contributing to public health research such as COVID-19, rotavirus, influenza, flu, and any respiratory viruses that are prominent within our community. And through my public research, I have contributed in advocating for free accessible testing, vaccines, and public health resources, not only to children, but also to underserved members of my community. In addition, I'm currently a commissioner for the senior citizens, where I had implemented the idea of bringing health fairs for our seniors in our community. Growing up in the city, I have witnessed the challenges that citizens in this community face as a society and as an individual. And through my experience, I have learned analytical skills to solve problems. After all, problems are made to be solved. And I will bring these skills to our city and committed to work with team of council members to contribute in the progression of our city. I am looking forward to answering your questions. Being in the city council would be a way for me to get back to the community that has supported me and encouraged me from my family and for 27 years. Thank you.
Does any member of the council have any questions for the candidate?
Madam Mayor, if I may. Thank you, Ms. Perez, for submitting your application. I'm going to ask you a question. What do you believe is the role of the city council in our community?
I believe that the most important role of a city council is to represent its constituent. I also believe that the role of a city council is to pass policies that are gonna help not only to contribute to the community, but also bring growth in our community.
Thank you so much for submitting your application. In your experience, in your professional experience, what have been some of the leadership roles you have held?
Over the period of my career, like mentioned before, I had worked in the science career. And so I had worked with many experts such as medical doctors, researchers, public health leaders. And through this collaboration, I have grown stronger with my communication skills as well as collaboration. And through this skills, I want to bring into my community more advocacy in health and wellness. What personal characteristics or qualities should the council have? I believe the best quality for a city council member is integrity. I also believe that as a city council member, we should be able to communicate effectively with not only our council members, but as well as with our community and as well as the media. These are very important skills that I think are very.
What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated matters?
I understand that I'm gonna face criticism based on my actions. And I also understand that there's gonna be many different opinions including from the residents as well as, council members. But at the end of the day, I also understand that decisions are made based on for the future for our community, as well as the safetiness of our community.
Thank you so much. Any additional questions? Right now, this asking so much. City clerk, looking for the next candidate.
Yes, thank you. One moment, please.
Hi, Dana Rivera. You have 3 minutes to introduce yourself and highlight your qualifications.
Okay, hello, city council members, mayor, and audience of residents of the city of Bell Gardens. My name is Diana Rivera, and I've been a resident of the city of Bell Gardens for 42 years. I run my own consulting firm here in the city of Bell Gardens. I work with government agencies such as USDA, FDA, state and local public health. I help my clients open and operate manufacturing plants for food products. I also help in the day-by-day operations of these food products to meet all the food regulatory laws and directives. I train their employees. I go back and I help renew their permits as well. And I also help any certifications that they might need, such as global food safety certificates that meet the requirements for a global food safety so that are able to sell products in big markets such as Walmart, Costco, and so on. I'm also a runner. I run every day as much as I can. Here at the neighborhood, the golf course and the county golf course. I like to work out. I am part of the senior citizen. Past couple of events have reminded me of what Bell Gardens has been founded on. That is my mother right now is actually watching. She's taking care of my son, and I've been bringing her to events. I've been chair our recreational staff. I've also had conversations with some of the members now sitting up there, and I wanted to come up here today because as much as you want to talk, you have to walk the walk. And I've expressed some concerns to the city on a personal level, not at any of the city council meetings, but I'm not here to be disrespectful. I am just here as a regular resident that loves and cares for their city, that wants to be that change, that wants to see the change. And just like every other resident sitting behind me and at home listening right now, we want answers. And we want answers, even if they're big or small, and we want to see action. And we want to be reminded of why we chose to raise our children here and our future generations here. And that is my main goal today. It's not here to gain any type of social status. I'm already 42 years old. I'm happy with who I am. I wake up every day and I'm happy with whom I see in the mirror. And that's what I want to bring to the city of Bell Gardens. Thank you so much for your time.
Does any member of the council have any questions to ask the candidate?
Yes, I have a question, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Diana, for submitting your application. And I want to ask you, what do you personally believe is the role of the city council in our community?
The role of the city council is to pretty much serve the voters, be a voice and be an ally, not only here in the city council, but obviously at a state level and with our neighborhood cities and what their concerns are for the city. Just to be productive and providing some answers, not try to hide and say, well, we're not there yet. And just be honest, be as much as transparent as we can with our.
Thank you so much for submitting your application. I'm gonna ask, in your experience, in your professional experience, what has been some of the leadership roles you have held?
Well, again, just working with government agencies, I am the ally between my clients and the government agency to be able to pass the on-site inspection, create the programs that follow the food process from the beginning all the way to the end, make sure that the consumer is getting a safe product. You know, USDA is the State Department of Agriculture, we all know that. So we do have to follow laws and directives. It's not just slaughtering, packaging, and refrigerating. There is a process, and that is what I am there to help them do. You're welcome.
What are your, what personal and character qualities should a councilman possess in order to serve the community well?
Well, in character, again, is being transparent. We all have the common goal, obviously, that's why we're here, it's to serve our community. And the character to be an active listener. I think that some of the time we want to speak and we don't listen. And being an active listener is hearing the voice and the concerns of our community. I've lived here for 42 years. My mother is 54 years. And I hear and I speak to my neighbors. I speak to my friends. Out of my 5 brothers and sisters, I am still here residing in Bell Gardens. I'm raising 3 children. One of them graduated Bell Gardens High School. The other one attends the elementary school here. So just being a face of the community. We could all sit here and talk about our degrees and our politics and our views, but at the end of the day, we are here to listen and serve our community.
What is your approach to handling controversial and complicated matters?
Well, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And again, abiding by the law and making sure that we have the best interest of our residents and our business owners. We have businesses right here down on Scout. My son works at one of them. We have a lot of street vendors as well, and they're all doing it by abiding the law, getting their health permits and so on. So the best way to resolve conflict is just having a meeting of the minds, again, being an active listener, and it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Any additional questions? You are now dismissed. Please return to the waiting room until you are asked to return to the council chambers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
We will now take a short recess at 7:55 and resume at 8:05. 8:04 p.m. We will first entertain a nomination and then we will entertain motions for those nominated in the order that the nominations were received. At this time, does any member of the council wish to nominate an applicant?
Mayor, can you clarify that? So we're first gonna do a nomination and then we do a motion?
So right now, we're just going to entertain nominations. After we receive all nominations, we will then entertain motions of the nominations that were received in the order that they were received. So at this time, does any member of the council wish to nominate an applicant?
I'd like to nominate Gabriela Gomez.
Are there any additional nominations?
Nominate Andrew Leon.
Any additional nominations? May I have a motion to close nominations?
I'll second.
Motion by Chavez, second by Barcina. City Clerk, please conduct a roll call vote.
Councilmember Barcina,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pulido,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez, and Mayor Sanchez.
Yes.
Back my vote, yes.
Thank you. May I have a motion to appoint nominee number 1, Gabriela?
I'd like to make that motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll go ahead and second.
We have a motion by Chavez and a second by Barcina. City Clerk, please conduct the roll call.
Councilmember Barcina,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pulido,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Chavez,
Yes.
and Mayor Sanchez.
Yes.
Motion passes. 3 yes and 1 no.
City Clerk, please administer the oath of office.
If I can please ask Gabriela Gomez to please come up here.
of the state of California
and the Constitution of the state of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic, that I will
that I will
bear true faith and allegiance
bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of California,
and the Constitution of the state of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask you to please sign here.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a 3-minute break. I will now reconvene the meeting at 8:12. We will now move to member comments, starting with Councilmember Barca.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I just want to welcome Gabriela Gomez to the Bell Garden City Council. And I want to express how difficult this decision was. And I don't mean to say that just as a procedure. I do feel that all of the candidates had something very tangible to offer our city. But at the same time, I'm happy that we were able to make a decision based on what we feel is the best for the city of Bell Garden. So again, welcome to you. And I hope that we can continue to work with our commissioners, because a lot of them were our commissioners, right? And I'm very proud of them for having the courage to come out here and put their name in the hat and, you know, do something like someone said. I think she said something like put their money where their mouth is, or walk the walk, or something along those lines. And it is all about that. It's about walking the walk. And when that opportunity comes up, you know, I always appreciate those that stand up, try to do a little bit more for our residents. Other than that, I want to thank everyone, staff, Mayor Pro Tem, and the council for a great meeting. It was a little bit different today, and I appreciate that as well, as far as the public comment. And last but not least, I want to thank the Recreation and Community Services for being supportive in some of the events that we've been doing that revolve around art. We've been working with a lot of local artists lately, and I see the response from our community. We had about over 30 people at one of our meditations at the park the other day. And we are also getting ready to have our biggest art event, which is our Expo in 5K. It's coming in September. Is that correct? September, yes. So I will be talking more about that on my social media. I'm very excited, and I want to involve the council. Also, I know that there's some artistically inclined people on the council, and I want to make sure that, you know, I push them a little bit to be more proactive in this field. But again, thanks for everything. Great meeting, and everyone have a great day.
I think that this was not this process that we made, and I'm pleased that first step to participating in city council. So I look forward to working with you. And I don't know if you noticed, Councilmember Barson looked straight at me to mention getting fines. And that was him being sarcastic, but it's okay. But thank you so much and congratulations again.
In my defense, I haven't seen one flowers over there, so I don't. That's the reason why.
Thank you so much. I want to say thank you for your support, for nominating me. I really do appreciate it. I know that there's a learning curve here. Being on the planning commission is not the same as being on the city council. And there's a lot to learn, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to learn and to support you in your initiatives and in your endeavors, and to work with you to make sure that the moves forward, and that we can do what's best for the residents of Bell Gardens. So again, I appreciate all of you, and I hope to get to know every single one of you by name, because please forgive me if I ask over and over again what your name is. But again, thank you very much. I'm sure we had very qualified candidates, as you said. You know, anyone who's on the commission already has an inclination to serve, and that's really not from anybody who's going to work there, who already has that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for this meeting. Want to start off by congratulating our new council member here with us, on the dais, welcome, Councilmember Gomez. You're part of the Bell Gardens team. You know, we all serve the same constituents, and I'm looking forward to collaborating and putting forward and heading Bell Gardens in the right direction. I'm really excited for that. I want to touch on a couple of things that have happened since the last meeting. I attended the La Casa meeting, Los Angeles County Affordable Housing Solutions Agency meeting. We meet once a month. Our meeting was on August 2nd. We had a couple presentations addressing affordable housing across the county. The first presentation was about protection, production, and preservation of housing at the moment. And then the second presentation was about affordable housing, financing, and lessons that we can learn from different housing trusts across the nation. So we had a presentation from someone from New York and their initiative and their approach when it comes to building affordable housing and actually financing it, because it's quite difficult. We also touched on AB 1679. Perhaps maybe there's something that staff should be looking at. It is an assembly bill from Assemblymember Miguel Santiago. Essentially, the county is looking into putting sales tax initiative on the ballot for this upcoming election. I think it's 0.5 that they're trying to get from all the cities. So us as cities, we're pretty concerned seeing that sales tax, because we're already contributing into our own general fund. Something that the cities are looking at is a parcel tax instead of a sales tax. So this is something that I'm working alongside with the league to try to prevent from happening. So it'll be an interesting conversation as this unravels now that the legislature is back in session. But AB 1679 is the bill that we're looking at. I want to thank staff for the event, Girls Rock Art event at the Neighborhood Youth Center. I got to attend for a little bit. I'm glad to see that we're having those type of events specifically for our girls here in our community. When I attended, it was my first ever event of that sort. The fact that it was in the first place at the Neighborhood Youth Center, right? I feel like a lot of times for these small little parks, you know, Marlowe Park, Belleville Park, Hannon Park, there isn't a lot of events that have happened. I know in the past we've done weekend events. I know we had like an art event in Marlowe Park a while ago, but I'm really glad to see that we had something at the Neighborhood Youth Center. And they had 3 different type of stations where they got to express their minds, to be more creative, and really be an empowerment and really feel empowered for being women in our environment now. So it was a great time. I'm glad to see that. And every year that we have it, theme. Also, Councilmember Santa might have attended as well. But it was really glad to see that happening. On August 3rd, I got to attend the league Los Angeles. A good meeting. We had our installation of our new president for the Los Angeles Division League. We touched on the district attorney, work, Gaston, and seeing across the county. We had LA County Sheriff Robert Kunin was present as well. Being able to hear them and ask questions. Also with one of the state national gathering. That's always great to have someone that we can work. Finally, this weekend we have a back to school event. We had about 600 backpacks to give away. And we had a variety of different sponsors present at the event. We had Wesley Center. We had the Family Health Care Center of Greater Los Angeles area. We had Dreamhouse Dental, you name it. We had a lot present, different even haircuts for the kids. Also had a whole league as well. But other than that, I mean, staff always knocking it out of the park. Really appreciate all the work that the staff members do. I take initiative to thank every single one of them for all the work that they do. We had jumpers for the kids. We had, we had games, Connect 4, you name it. So it's always great seeing the staff out there with kids and also the other public, private, and nonprofit organizations present. Lea was present as well. So I thought we could use that. But those are just the ones that are coming out. And then also Edith and Kimberly did a great job at the mic. Finally, coming up, we have a billiards tournament or pool tournament on the 16th for Senior Center right here in Clara. And then we also have a design workshop coming up on the 17th for golf. Gathering community input. I think a consultant that we went with, they're gathering community input to see what other alternatives we can do, designs for our golf course. So that'll be August 17th, which is from 6 to 7 p.m. this Thursday. I think it's this Thursday. at Veterans Park. Finally, I'd say again, I'll begin how I began. Welcome to the team. Excited to have you on the team. Get involved, start going to the regional meetings, state meetings. If you can, I'd encourage you to go to the conferences. Those are always a great opportunity for us to engage with other council members and get to learn what challenges they're going through. It surprises me to see that issues in the Central Valley, like in Fresno, Farmersville, Turlock area, I mean, they're having very similar, if not the same issues as we. A lot of cities are tackling the issue of cannabis because of the state initiative and the state push. So I'd say get involved. If I can be of any resource or support, I'm always here, and I look forward to collaborating and supporting along the way. Thank you again.
You almost used up all your time.
I'm working on it.
So I'm happy first day to all the students coming back to Montebello Unified School District today. Last week we had an opportunity of hosting some elected officials from Fresnillo, Zacatecas. So I want to thank Councilmember Barcena for being present for that and being able to share a little bit about our city, and also to Bell Gardens PD for giving them a tour and them being able to get some ideas from that as well. I do want to thank all of the candidates. I know that a lot of our candidates were commissioners, like a lot of my colleagues have stated already. And I think that just shows the leadership already that we have here in Bell Gardens. We talk about being the hub of progress and moving forward with the city, and knowing that we have such great leadership of candidates being able to come and wanting to be part of city council, but continuing to be involved within those commissions, I think is really important. So candidates, if you're still hearing or you hear this, I appreciate you applying, and I hope to see you continuing to be supportive of the community through the commissions and through the different events. The back to school event is one of my favorite events. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend this year because I was at school myself, but I did see a lot of the pictures and a lot of the happy faces of getting the haircuts, getting the backpacks, and different supplies that was provided to them. So thank you for that. And welcome, Councilwoman Gomez. We look forward to working with you. And once again, the hub of progress is here, and we hope to move forward with the city. If none of the council members object, I will now adjourn.
Madam Mayor, if
Oh.
I may interrupt,
Go
I
ahead.
just want to say something. I want to thank you and also Mayor Pro Tem Jorge Chavez, because I try to go to all the events, and when I'm getting there, Jorge is leaving, and then you arrive shortly after that. And I just really appreciate the involvement that you guys put forth as council members. And I know, for example, you were in school for this last event, the backpack giveaway, but I understand that you provided a donation for the program. So I really, really appreciate the involvement, and I just don't think I say that enough. So I wanted to just throw that out there before the end of the meeting. Yeah.
Thank you. Any additional comments? No? No, go ahead.
If I can, are there still backpacks left? Okay, because I know for the folks that can't make it or they couldn't make it, I just want to make sure that they have an opportunity to.
Yes, we do. We still have supplies and backpacks available. So if you do know of a resident who's in need, please send them our way, and we'd be happy to get them connected.
If there's no objection now by the members of the city council, I now adjourn the city council successor agency joint meeting at 8:26 PM. Thank you.